Okay, so the first question we ask on an annuity is, what is an annuity? So an annuity, well, as you can see here, well, not quite there, it's a stream of equal payments. So instead of having a lump sum of $4,000 today that's going to grow, now we're going to be putting in $4,000 every year, or we're going to be receiving $4,000 every year. Stream of equal payments, they have to be the same amount because they're equal. It has to be equal time intervals, and the interest rate has to stay the same over the course of the annuity. So an ordinary annuity, and if it's going out, it's a payment. If it's coming in, you call it a rent. In an ordinary annuity, the payment or rent happens at the end of each period. Okay, so it's January 1st, that would be the beginning of the period. January 31st is when the rent would come in for that period in order to make it an ordinary annuity. An annuity due, the rent or payment happens at the beginning of each period. So this would happen on January 1, this would happen on January 31st. Obviously, there's a little bit more interest involved with an annuity due. So we'll see how those work in the next video. Okay, so let's just think about what the tables are doing for us. And basically what's happening is that you have an initial deposit of $30,000. At the end of year 1, you will have earned interest on that $30,000, but you're going to put in another $30,000. So your balance, it would be $61,800. So now you're earning interest on that, and so forth. Okay, so it's the stream of equal payments that are going into this, and they're all earning interest as they go along. Okay, so this is what you can do this on Excel, or you can use the tables to solve the problem. So here, if we are going to do the tables, I use the same set of questions. Tends to work out pretty well. If they're investing $30,000 in a fund at the end of each year, okay, so at the end of each year, starting at the end of 2017, what amount is going to be in the fund after the last deposit. So we know what we're going to be depositing. We want to know how it's going to end up. So we need to know the future. Single sum or an annuity, well, this is an annuity. It's a stream of equal payments. Is it ordinary or annuity due? And where they're saying beginning at the end of the month, this is an ordinary annuity. Okay? Number of periods, it's going to be 8, and the interest rate is 6%. Whoops. Okay, just go over here. And so you treat these as you would the single sum problems, except you're working with this gets you to the future value of an annuity table, and this gets you to the correct factor. So here you set up the problem. You've got the 30,000 times the future value factor of an ordinary annuity, 8 periods, 6%, is going to give you the total after the last deposit. So you go find your factor, do the multiplication, and that's how much you'll end up with. Okay, so that's your annuity. So let's look at this one. This person needs $250,000 in 10 years. How much should he invest at the end of each year at 5% interest to meet his needs? Okay, so let's think about what's going on here. What we need to know is the payment amount. And this is where my questions, they kind of fall a little short, but we need to know the payment amount. We know it's an annuity, we know it's an ordinary one, we know the number of periods, and we know the interest rate. So when you're setting up the problem, you just have to think a little bit. The payment amount times the future value factor gives you, how much he's going to need to invest, okay? So when we do the math out on this, we're taking the 250 divided by the future value factor is going to give you the amount of the payment that is needed. So we get the factor, you're going to have to make a payment of $19,896. So these you have to really think about. He needs to have this in 250. He needs this 250,000 in 10 years. How much should he invest at the end of each year to meet his needs? So the payment about times the future value factor gives you that 250, and then you're really doing the math and looking up the numbers. Okay? So that's your ordinary annuity. And, oh, we have another one here. I think rather than do these on the video, I think you get the idea, and I'll move on to the annuity due. Okay.